Now in this little video I have a couple of little detail items to take care of. The first is I've let this wheel sit out in the garage where it's been under 20 degrees basically for 24 hours. It's dry to the touch and it dried up exceptionally nice. There's not a single run or a single anything that has to be addressed here, and it really has a nice gloss to it, a nice look. I really was happy the way that came out. Now what the plan is it's going to sit under a heating vent. So what that does, and I'm not sure that everybody in the world understands this, if this were a summer day this would already be totally dry. Because it's cold, it dries very slowly, but now the heat will bring it up in a day or two. It'll be ready for the final assembly. And by that time we should have our tire here. We ordered a brand new tire, of course. Now what I did, I took the disc off in the very beginning. I did a general cleanup on it. And I'm still going to do a little more polishing around the hub on the side that you see. What the problem is, we're preparing for a big storm here, and I don't want to let all that go because we're going to get snowed in, I think, in the next day or so. So I'm saving some of these jobs. They're nice indoor jobs I can do in between running the snowblower up and down a driveway. And Vlad's parts have dried up, hardened under the heating vent. They're of course right next to the wheel by the heating vent. And they have hardened up, they're ready whenever he's going to pick them up. And of course, because he's running a big business, his time is limited. We're going to try to coordinate one day this week. And Chuck Dearborn's part, as I always say, if you can watch TV, hey, that's me. If you can watch TV in your part, that's pretty good. And the next thing we're going to be doing on this is we're going to seal up the tank one day this week. And again, we're always in the process of coordinating schedules. So we have a lot of little shop projects to take care of right now. So what I can do is pull off some of the backmasking here and clean this up. Even though I don't want to really work on this for another day, I can get all a little backmasking off, and that's probably okay to do while the paint is still relatively soft like this. I just don't want to put my finger in it. And of course that's always the problem when paint is soft. You leave fingerprints on it. But that dry time, and I've seen, and I've been guilty of it too, the dry time that some people leave apart, they want to do it the next day or so. They want to just grab it and rub wrenches on it and whatever. But I have to say, there's times you really pay the price when you make that mistake. But anyway, this looks like it's going to be fine. And I'm actually excited to see how this is going to be once I get the disc back on it and everything. But again, this is a unique time. We're planning for what will be the biggest storm of the year here. They're predicting it's going to be a blizzard. So I've got the turbo on the, checked my turbo settings on the snowblower. And what's nice is while we're doing all the work that we have to do to maintain the property, this will be cooking up right by the heating vent. That'll be really nice. Now a lot of people do paint inside the wheel. I don't. I'm not sure why, and I don't think it matters. I guess one reason would be just why waste the paint? But I do make a very big effort at keeping that area where the tire seats to be nice and clean and free from some of the old debris that every time you remove a tire, there's some parts of the tire that seem to stick in there. I always like the look of how when that's spinning around and it's shiny and the sun is hitting it. And again, I don't know if I'm really going to fall in love with this color on the bike until I put it on the bike. But I'll have to obviously have two sets of wheels and I can go back and forth. Now we've gotten to this point in the job, and now there's a couple of decisions that we still have to make before we do the rest of the work on this wheel. And of course, we still have to wait to get the tire, but we can take care of all those other little decisions, maybe some of them today or some tomorrow. And of course, preparing for any big storm is Getting a snowblower all ready. Seems like it doesn't belong with in our motorcycle collection, but when we need it, and I think we're going to need it in the next couple of days, it's really handy to have that. But here was the decision I wanted to make, and of course, one of the mistakes I had made on this bike when I painted it, I originally had painted the wheels silver, and I wasn't happy with the look of the silver wheels, so I painted this set black. Then I wasn't happy with the stripe because I painted the stripe a metallic color. It didn't contrast enough. So I wasn't happy with that, and it's an artsy, craftsy kind of thing, but I really wasn't happy with it. So I don't want to fall for this trick again. What I want to do, and that's why I always paint one wheel at a time, when I actually get to assemble a bike and put the wheel and a new tire on the bike, then I'll make a decision. I'll be halfway through painting the wheels. Do I want to do the front wheel? Do I want to just wait until it needs a tire? I think the front tire's got a couple more things. Oh yeah, front tire's not a problem at all. But the back one's got at best, a 1,000 miles left on it. And when I painted the wheels on the R1, I loved having these little black recessed areas. And I did that with Glenn's flat black paint. I really liked the way that contrasted, because a lot of this is contrasting stuff. And so I'm going to think of how I want to do this now. And here's one of the things I might want to do. See where this bike doesn't have a gold sprocket. But I might want to, because I have an extra one, I might want to do that sprocket carrier in gold. I'm not sure, but I have an extra one. I might want to think about doing that part of it today too. But I do have, that's the nice thing about having a spare bike. You can just reach over, like, as Luciano says, like a Christmas tree, take parts off. And I think I'm going to look at what I want to do with that sprocket carrier today. I really can't start any big projects, but that sprocket carrier would be nice. I really do like the way the gold and the silver offset. And I might be able to replicate that on the back of this, especially with the polished swing and arm. That might look nice. Again, just some aesthetic things, but I always have a lot of choices. And the great thing about paint, if you don't like it, you just paint it over again. So what I decided to do is, just going to think about this for the next day or so. Do I want to paint this gold? But I know I want to paint in these recesses of the wheels. See, I don't like the way that looks down there. I'd like that to be flat black. So that may be one of the, and I'll think about it. Think about it over coffee here, because it's not a big deal to do it, and it certainly wouldn't be any worse. I can't picture that it would be something that I wouldn't like. I liked it on the other bike, but coming up with these little styling decisions, sometimes it takes longer than you think. But while I got this apart, I can clean up the bolts and nuts, clean it all up, back mask it, and then at the next opportunity, I think what I'm going to do is make that gold, because then I'll have the choice when I put the bike back together of having a black one or a gold one, and just keep the one I don't use as the spare. Now the first thing I can do on this and restoring this part, clean up some of these nuts on a buffing wheel. Now usually, as I'll put this on the video, good information, it's the black, this is the roughest of the compound, that works best on hardened steel. These nuts obviously are hardened steel. But that cleans them right up, almost a minute or two per bolt or nut or whatever. And that's I think that's always part of doing a really nice restoration. Now, of course, because this is a part that's down by the chain, the first thing I want to do is get all the grease off. Then what I'll do is I'll just lightly sand it with 1000 grit as much as I can. Back mask this off. And I'll have the choice when I put the bike back together, or when I replace the tire, and again, with the weather the way it is, we're not going to be doing much out there. So this is kind of a nice indoor project. It came at a perfect time. And I have this, I don't know what this is, rubber or something. I have to get that off. Get in here as much as I can. Prep this all up, backmask the seal and the bearing. And again, these little style details, a lot of times you, style cues, whatever you want to call them, you don't think they really matter until you see a bike that you're missing one of them, or one's wrong, or something that you could have made better. And I know that wheel stripe caught me off guard, but wasn't something I couldn't change. So it's always in the eye of the beholder. It's always in, just like all the dirt that comes off these parts. And between the degreaser and this, and if I can't get this reasonably clean, I may have to steam clean it. I don't know yet. But there's just, you cannot paint over grease. There's certain rules like gravity and different things that don't change from part to part, or whether you have a Ducati or a Harley or a Lamborghini or what. There's certain rules that just never get violated. And getting a part clean and getting it etched a little bit with some 1000 grit before you paint it, if you skip some of those steps, boy, you really do wind up paying later on. And I found cleaning, sometimes you just have to go over a part, rinse it, go over it again, rinse it, go ahead, and at some point in time, it'll come clean. Now, I originally thought, and this is really true, I thought this was going to look good with the black wheels, and it didn't. I didn't like the look. But again, all of the stuff that we do, and actually all the stuff you do too, it's all in the eye of the beholder, and we really do have to work on getting those cracks and crevices nice and clean. Now, what I found, the combination of the SOS pad and this brush to get in all the corners. Any part that has little corners and edges and angles, and simple green, of course. Now, there's some spots on this, I wanted to show this, you just can't get sandpaper in, but that SOS pad gets right in there. And then I'll take this, and when I'm done, I'll rinse it off in the sink a little bit. Just get most of this off, and then with the compressor and compressed air, blow dry all the corners and edges, angles, little things that normally would be a problem up here. And this will give the paint a good chance that it's going to stick. Again, you just cannot. If you get this picture in your mind, the part has to be clean and it has to be etched. Both of those things. Just clean is not enough, and just etched is not enough. If you etch something over wax or silicone, you make it worse. And it's this edge here that we're really going to see, so I want to clean this up as best I can. Again, I may have to go over this 2 or 3 times. I'll do some of it off camera. Because I know from past experience where this is more than likely going to not want to stick. And it's in those corners. Now, as I look through my samples of gold paint, I have several, I thought it would be nice if I could find the matching paint that matches the fork legs. And luckily, when I was done with the fork legs, I marked it. And I think I have just enough to do that sprocket carrier. And of course, this is all in the eye of the beholder. I think having a little bit of gold at the front of the bike, a little bit of gold at the back of the bike, might be nice. Now, you'd never really know the kind of a day this is. It's cold, of course, but sun is out. It's actually a pretty good day to paint. But the problem is, we know big snow is coming, maybe. And tomorrow, this will be North Dakota. Anyway, it's nice that we saved these little paint samples, because this is a custom mixed color, of course. Oh yeah, that's going to look nice. Again, with any of these metallics, I want to get on several thin coats. I don't want to have one big thick coat. Give it a few minutes to dry between coats. Listen to those birds. Hey you guys, it's going to snow tomorrow. You better get your seeds all in order. And it's always better. A lot of thin coats with any metallic. Look at them, these birds. I think they. Yeah, I'm happy too. Spring is coming. 15 inches of snow tomorrow. If you listen to those birds in the background, you think they're approving of my gold paint, or they're, yeah, I don't know, Wendy. Anyway, this is going to dry about 20 minutes, and then we're going to get 2 coats of clear on it. Put that aside to dry. Just an unbelievable day. If you were in Florida or something and you had no idea how cold it is, it's really cold out here, but the wind isn't blowing and the sun is out. Now we just want to get 1 coat of clear on. Let it dry for a few minutes. 20 minutes, 15 minutes. Get a second coat on. Oh, that clear really makes it sparkly. Wow. Looks exactly like the front leg. That should really look nice when it's done. Oh, I think that's really going to look nice when that's on the back of the bike. Not sure you can see how bright that color is, but it's really nice. It's going to be a nice little detail touch if we use it. Well, with all that done, the gold part done, snow blower ready to go, all that's left is to pick up the baby. How's that going? Are you obeying all local speed limits? Hey, are you speeding? Are you speeding? Is that what's happening here? Hey, let him go. Oh, you missed the bucket.
No,
come on, you got to get him in a bucket.
I don't want him. I want him to just...
You got to get him in the bucket.
I just want him to jump back on the...
Come on, back in the bucket. Oh, you missed again.
No, I didn't.
Oh.
Right back up.
Go ahead, go.
Here.
Go. Let him go. Oh! What are you doing? Miles, are you going to help Miles?
Thursday night for some kind of seminar. She came home yesterday.
Uh-oh, here we
5
go.
o'clock, and now she's out again. So.
Oh my goodness.
Mark brought some parts over, I'm sure, but he hasn't seen our Hot Wheels layout.
No parts.
Oh.
I have your paint, and I have the...
Oh!
Watch this.
Let me see.
Watch this! Whoa, in a bucket!
A basket to catch it in.
Oh!